enter the Illuminati. Wouldn't make a bad video game, actually.
What's going on?
All right, Jones. So, being announced right about now, people probably haven't even seen the announcement clicking on this video. Forza Horizon 4 Eliminator.
Ooh.
They are dropping in Battle Royale to Forza Horizon 4 as a free update tomorrow.
And just so you know, I had no idea what we were about to talk about. I'm like, are they doing some Star Wars expansion or what's going on? And you were like, I just gotta say, there's nothing to do with Forza, but like sneaky Bloodworth is something it doesn't happen. You were like kind of like live tweeting me during the actual preview event that you were at, like talking about your progress.
I wasn't
and
an event. It was just like sign in from home.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah. So I got to play 2 hours on Sunday, and it's. They say that the matches will be up to 72. I was getting about 50 people per session. And yeah, one of the things we were talking about, like funny things about doing preview multiplayer sessions is like before that 2 hour window, like nothing's happening, and then it's like, oh, okay, you join the session and like you play and play. And then at the end of the 2 hour window, it's like, where'd everybody go? It's just like very eerie because you're not talking to anybody. Nobody's talking you through it.
Yeah.
You just join the session and then all of a sudden you can't join the session. But yeah, so it's full on Battle Royale. It's using the whole map.
Whoa, which I haven't played this game,
Yeah.
and so I don't know that scale. I mean, imagine that's a pretty big
It's
scale.
pretty big scale.
And pretty huge for a just Battle Royale in general. But I guess you can move a little faster in this than you
Yes.
can in normal Battle Royales.
And then there is like a pink perimeter wall that closes in at certain points. And the way the progression works is that everybody starts off with like a red Mini Cooper, and then there are car drops, like randomized car drops around the map in different places. And you'll see those from like this teal smoke or whatever that's pouring out. So there's like some drones or whatever with a bunch of smoke, and then as you're coming up to it, you can see like what level that car is.
So you can spot the drone in the air. That's what you mean by
Yeah.
the
So
drones?
you basically see the smoke in the drones.
Okay.
It's like there's a spot there, and you can like see it from pretty far away from like
But everybody can see it. So
But
that's
everybody can see
that's
it.
the danger. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the map is so big. It's not like you're looking out and you see all the drops. Like there are times where I'd be driving around, I'd be looking like, where is a car? I'm looking for it, and it was so funny is because of box peek ending, and like every time that I would get in that sense, and I'm just like panning the camera around looking for cars, I just hear Kyle in my brain. It's like, Takia, there's nothing. So watch box peek if you don't know that reference. But anyway, so you get but the car drops can be anywhere from like, so you start off at level 1. They can be anywhere from like 2 to I saw like up to 8. So you could like roll up and like immediately be in like a level 8 car. And then kind of the next part of how this works, how people get eliminated,
Here we go.
is anyone that you roll up to, like you hit the right thumbstick and challenge them to a race. And so immediately it sets a point on the map, and like whoever gets there first is going to stay in, and whoever doesn't gets knocked out. And then the person that wins, they get to choose whether to take the other person's car or whether to basically like add that to like their car score and like upgrade their car.
What's the significance of the car score?
Well, I'm saying it like that's how.
the
how
score
fast
of
the car
your
is.
car
Yeah.
individual. Okay.
Yeah. So like if you're in like.
And that increases your speed.
Yeah, if you're level 3 going against a level 6, you're gonna have a hard time.
There's no damage or anything. It's not like I can like trade paint with you and that will negatively affect you, other than slowing you down.
Yeah, I mean it can slow you down. You can potentially knock people over that way, but you're not gonna like. Yeah, you're not gonna like break a wheel or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, not like that. Like most battle royales, there's like a lot of other things going on, but with this, it's like it's mostly about races. And so I would get into these interesting situations to where somebody would they would challenge me as they were coming at me head on, and then the point would be like in their favor because I was going the wrong direction. Like, oh crap, I'm gonna try to turn around and catch up. The other thing, again, because this map is so big, you have to like take that moment of like, okay, do I take any time at all to like look at the map and see where this is, or do I just gun it and try to go straight for it? And sometimes like that doesn't necessarily work out in your favor because there's mountains, there's rivers. I had one where I was a much higher level car, and the car I was at was 3, but going straight for the goal, the festival was in the way. And the festival is like one of the worst spots on the map to try to get around because it's all like walled off, like amusement park rides and concerts and stuff like this. So like the only like way to navigate that is like you have to be on these little spaghetti roads. So whereas like most of the map, you can just like you can go over that if you got enough speed, you can go up that hill, sure.
Well, not to mention like the Royale border wall that's closing in on everybody.
Yeah.
A couple questions about that. Did the races that you would assign with someone kind of point you like precariously in that direction, where like your
one of them
destination
really
was right next
did?
to it?
It was pretty crazy because I got out. And I was in a race with somebody. I got out to the point, and then immediately after that, the wall starts to contract, and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm in the worst place right now." And I had to like get myself back in.
What happens when you're on the other side of it?
It looks kind of desaturated. I imagine if like if you completely run out of time, that you would just time out and you'd be eliminated. But what ends up happening is there's like a meter that fills up, like a timeout meter. And what's interesting is I noticed that meter doesn't reset. When you get back in, like that meter is still there. So any time that you spend outside the wall is cumulative. So you can take a little bit of...
That is original, compared to a lot of battle royales. That's interesting.
Yeah, because most of them it's just like, oh, it's your health, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get it back, or you find some potions or something in your set.
Yeah. So with this, it's like you can kind of take a little bit of that risk. And I did early on, like I was kind of like scanning around the edge by the wall while I had time to like, okay, well, there's a car drop like on the other side. I'll go out and I'll snag that and then come back in. And you can do that.
Cool.
At the same time, like you can't get that time back. So if you get into a sticky situation like I did on that one race, then that could nail you. But I didn't have an issue with the wall so much as just head-to-head races. That was the main thing to like knock you out. The funny thing is the best result I got was in my second round. The first round, I immediately flipped over, and that was pretty much it. The second round, I made it into, once you get to the top 10, there's like essentially like one final race that everybody has to try to get to the end point. And I was second place on the final race.
That answers pretty much my primary question, is like when you get it down to how many people are involved in that?
I think it's the final 10.
The final 10, and how many total when you start?
72 is the max.
Okay. And you had like 50-ish or something, like just in that crew. Because the voluntariness of you meeting somebody, did you ever just like, it's interesting, it's very bizarre for a battle royale, is because like they're all combat focused, and so you don't get to voluntarily avoid the bullet that I'm shooting at you, and so that's interesting. Did you ever have people like not sign up for you, be like, no, I don't want to race you, I want to go get
you don't
that
get
car.
that choice. If somebody challenges you, you're locked.
You have to do it.
You
Okay.
have to do it. And that was one of the things of like the learning curve of like, oh, okay, like and there was one point where I didn't even realize that like I was in a race and I was like trying to pick up a car and like, why am I not? I'm supposed to be racing right now. Okay. And I'm like at the bottom of a quarry. I'm like, this is not going to work out.
And that was just the HUD you didn't recognize? Like there's some kind of identifier
I
on the
don't
screen?
know why my brain didn't work. I looked back at the footage. There's a giant thing went over the screen that told me I was in a race. I was just so focused on getting to that car drop. Because that's one of the things. That's the frantic moment. And, if like you see that car drop and you're trying to get it before anyone else.
Because part of me says, yeah, this will be so quick. This will be something where, like you said, you failed it almost right away in the first round. But I imagine this is something where there's a lot of downtime potentially in any battle royale, depending on where you spawn, where you land. Even if you land in a populated zone and everybody dies there right away, and then the ring starts to close, and you're like, oh, I'm going to head back over to the middle. You could potentially not see somebody for like 5-10 minutes at all.
Oh, yeah.
You maybe see some stuff in the distance. Did you find that? Was it still fun to drive around? Knowing that you'd played a lot of Forza Horizon 4 and knowing the map, did that help not only in strategizing how to get around certain obstacles, but just like the fun factor of like, hey, it's just fun to drive around this map. It doesn't necessarily matter if I'm challenging anybody right now.
The thing about like battle royales is like there's just that pressure of like I've gotta find something, so that I can compete when that moment comes. I think playing, once it's out again to the public and I can play it more, like I think I definitely want to play with that idea of like, okay, when is my car good enough and I just need to kind of hide? I just need to lay low. Because you're putting yourself at risk by getting into a race at all.
That is my next question. Yeah. That is a definite strategy in other battle royales, to just like find a bathtub and go prone and just, keep your ears plugged and cross your fingers.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't seem like this you can do that necessarily.
I mean, if somebody
just wait it out until the final 10.
If somebody doesn't find you, then you're,
How can you hide in a car? Like, can you hide in a barn? Can you hide behind trees? Or there?
I mean, to an extent, it's just about proximity, right? Because once you get close enough to people, you see like little arrows on your mini map. It's like, okay, there's people over there, there's people over there, but you don't know exactly how close they are. And then once you start getting close enough to where they'll be on your mini map, they turn into like a pink dot. And if they're in a race, they'll have like a no symbol through it. So you can't challenge that person.
Because it's just cars.
There's
There's nothing that removes your meter. There's nothing that stealths you. There's nothing that gives you a little speed boost.
Yeah, it is pretty bare bones in that sense, and the same thing with the car drops. They're pretty spread out. You've got to really search for them sometimes. And so it's not like PUBG or something where it's like any house you walk into, there's something. It's like, no, like there's cars and there's nothing else.
Well, but I think that kind of makes it fun because it does come down to the racing. You do have to be good at this game. You do have to know this map.
And that's where a little bit of my criticism is too, is that like it's the type of point-to-point races that there really is a little bit more of a factor of luck, because you can never really do these races by just like, oh, I'm just going to take the roads. I'm just going to follow GPS. It's like, no, you're going to lose because you got to go straight for it, because if somebody else goes straight for it, they're just going to take all the shortcuts.
Which you
but
think...
if you don't know the terrain, then
right. Plus, is there any advantage to having like an all-terrain vehicle, or having, like a big truck or something that can handle off-road stuff?
You don't really get that option because your car is just random. It's just, based on whatever level they give you a car that's appropriate to that. So it does have the off-road tires or snow tires or whatever it needs.
Did you have any moments, or could you foresee obviously moments where, I'm level 3, I'm going up against a level 7, but this person's so fast and is in a car that is, has such an impressive top speed that they might, get a little ahead of themselves in trying to drive as fast as they possibly can to the next destination, and then whoops, they go off a cliff, whoops, they took the wrong turn, and then slow and steady wins the race. Or I just know this map better than you do, and so that just gives me a natural advantage. Doesn't necessarily matter what my level is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely your car speed is a huge advantage no matter what, but there are definitely times where like you don't necessarily want to just give up, because sometimes you think you're going the right way, and like I said, there will be a wall there. Like there are plenty of times where like, oh, all right, I'll go up there, and then there's one of those walls around the roads, or there's a town there, or there's something, and like, I've got to figure out how to get around this. And sometimes that'll, bite you in the butt, whereas somebody that manages to get around that, they can get to that point a little bit easier. And so a little bit of risk rewards, but I think it's like where one of my issues comes in with, like, in terms of this being about challenging someone to a race, is like that fact that it's just sort of becomes this like instant moment, like, and you don't ever get this chance to like, okay, we'll just set us up and we'll like start at a starting line.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm going the wrong way right now, and very fast. And I've got to turn around. And also that there's never any, which sort of makes sense because it's just sort of based on where you are at the map at the time. But there's never any point where like you do get onto like a like race course, like that's sort of set out for you. It would be sort of nice if those types of driving skills were rewarded, but it's just like, no, just get across the countryside.
Well,
just go straight line and avoid the walls and avoid the trees and avoid the mountains.
If you can. As someone who's bad at battle royales in general, like I always try to have the right mindset going into one where it's like, I just want to have fun and learn to appreciate the fun in getting nailed really well by someone, getting sniped from a very far distance, just walking right into the danger zone and not realizing it, parachuting in a very wrong spot. Was there how serious did you take this? How mad were you when you lost? When you flipped over at the beginning there, like how much did that get under your skin?
I don't know about getting under your skin, but there's definitely some moments where like that competitiveness like kind of rises to the top a little bit, like when we were all going for one of those car drops and you get it, and like now I've got a level 5 car and you're still in a level 1. challenge. Like, I've got it and you don't, and now I'm gonna knock you out. And then the same thing with the wall. There was one time the wall started closing in, and I'm like, I'm on the wrong side of a mountain right now. And so I can't just go straight over the mountain. I've got to go up here, and I got to go up here, and I got to like, this wall is still coming.
And because you were just with this select group of people at this like preview event, how quick was it to get back into a match? Like when you got taken out, did you have to wait for all 50 of those people to start a whole new thing again, or do you think it'll be?
It kind
like,
of
well,
varied.
you lost that one and just roll right into another one. No big deal.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a little bit of a wait. You do get put back out in the world, and it starts connecting, but you can still drive around, and so. So one of the nice things is like if you drove past a collectible during all that craziness, and then like there's a billboard I didn't smash on the map, you can go and get that.
Cool.
It wasn't too long between matches.
What do you get when you win? Why am I going to keep playing this? Did you get unlock new skins, unlock stickers?
Yeah,
or
I wasn't paying a
decals?
lot of attention to it, but there is like a whole other like progression bar. So that like the more that you play Eliminator, you'll get other rewards. So I think that there are cars and clothing and
You weren't
other
paying
little
attention.
things.
That's everything. I'm in this for the speed.
I was just
I'm in this
about
for the
playing the
gear.
thing.
I'm in this for the cosmetics. I mean, I don't know. In cars, is that? I mean, obviously, cosmetic cars are a big deal, but is
I
that
have
stuff
hundreds
already
of
available?
cars and $16 million in Forza Horizon 4.
Exactly.
So
You don't have to flaunt it, Blood. Jeez. But yeah, I wonder what the retention is, and I wonder what the retention needs to be for an update to Forza because
it's a free pack, yeah.
It's a free pack, and just kind of, as somebody who, hasn't really dabbled not only in 4, but just in Forza in general, seeing all the fun, I think the Lego thing is like the most tempting thing that they've added recently.
So good.
But I don't know how much have you played that compared to how much do you think they expect people to play? And so do you think this is something that they are adding that they really hope is going to shake things up, or is just like, hey, this is a fun idea that we had. Obviously not enough for us to, create its own game.
Right.
But,
Or charge for it.
Right. But it might be something.
Because the Lego and the Fortune Island, those are both charged.
There we go.
Expansion packs.
But something that our community might get a kick out of.
Yeah.
Should the Forza Horizon 4 community kind of set their expectations there?
Yeah, it's like it's not super deep or anything. Like I said, it's like you get a car, you race people, and then hope you last to the end, and the wall closes in on you. There's some basic strategies there, but you're not adding a lot crazy new mechanics. So
Speed is one thing, skill is one thing, but if I just know that map like the back of my hand, I think I'd be very attracted to a mode like this.
Yeah.
And it would be more satisfying for me. Not necessarily to, like edge past a person at the right turn or just barely, cross in front of them at the finish line, but just completely take, they go left. Oh, that's where the GPS is telling me. And you're like, no, cowboy, you're out. I know I beat you because I know this shortcut. And you just maybe might, recognize those because that's how races in the game go as well, right? When you're not in Battle Royale, like it does help to know like where those little shortcuts are, where the terrain's not necessarily going to slow you down,
I think
where
that's
you
what
can
I
jump.
meant in a way, like maybe not like a really like hard pinned down course, but just like multiple checkpoints rather than just like get to that thing 5 miles away.
Got it.
So, and we were playing in winter. I don't know if it's going to be winter when
the
when it
seasons.
comes out this week. I don't know when the season changes. I haven't like retained that schedule in my head. So that allowed us shortcuts that you wouldn't normally have because like there's whole lakes that are frozen over. So just like gun it across that lake. And when spring comes around, you can't do that. So it's going to be a little harder to get over there.
Are you thirsty, Bloodworth? Did you have a hunger to win? Like, is this something where
He definitely had a hunger to win.
are you? Yeah. Do you see yourself just personally going back in and challenging?
Yeah, I want to.
Do you want
check
your
it
name
out
to
some
be
more.
feared in the world of Exterminator?
Exterminator? No, I think it's
Eliminator.
Yeah,
Eliminator. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know about my name being feared, but I want to. Yeah, I would like to win one at least. Yeah.
Sure.
Just like with Tetris 99,
Tweet that
obsessed
out.
until you win one, and then it's like, okay, move on.
Well, but there we go. Yeah, I think that's like a safe bet. I wonder if the team knows that and understands that. They're like, obviously, we're going to have our faithful. We're going to have people that are going to be obsessed with this. But it's also just kind of a fun thing that you can come in and check it out. And something that I think Forza is known for, just for when you first get into whether it's the mainline Forza or the Horizon series, that there's going to be some fun, wacky, unexpected things that are going to be added on top of it, whether you have to pay for them or not. But
And I think that's too. It's a good way of like maybe just incentivizing people to like just jump back in, and then as you're in between that, then you just like remember, because I had that moment, like I've been playing Need for Speed a lot, and I get back and it's like, man, Forza is a really good game, and so there's still a lot of stuff out because the game has got so many events and it's so huge, and there's so many little things that they add over time, and it's like, man, there's just all this other things that I could do right now that aren't even part of the Eliminator mode.
So what are you called? Is it like number 1 elimination, or like what? Do you know what it is when you get? Did you see someone's screen, or like did they say?
What do they call you?
Victory Royale, or what? What is it?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, obviously.
I don't know.
Obviously, you don't know. So it's going to be fun. I can't. Whenever this launches, I'm going to be like pestering you on social media. Be like, I've noticed you have not posted yet that you've gotten whatever this is. But I just want to hashtag at you like, what? No total elimination, Bloodworth. Me and every single viewer of this video will wait with bated breath for your first total elimination, whenever that is. But fun, and I'm glad. I am, one of the primary editors here at EC Allies, so I'm sure that's why you brought me in, because I'll be cutting this video. But it's fun to, to be on the ground floor and to hear about this crazy stuff, because you were, again, just super sneaky and excited about this. And when are we going to get our hands on it?
If you're watching this when we put the video up, it's tomorrow. I don't know an exact time, but I know it's Thursday, December 12th.
Cool. By next Monday.
All right, that's right.